I am live. Okay, there we go. I need to pull that camera just a little bit closer, don't I? And it doesn't zoom, so I need to physically move it. That's better. 6:15 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. It is time for sports, and what in the world happened last night at the box? LSU baseball just absolutely fell apart. Rough go of it. Rough go of it, to be sure. Almost got run ruled by, or did they get run ruled by Northeastern? I was tuning in and out, so I missed out on the final there. However, okay, let's go ahead and pull up the box score. Oh no, 13-10. It was an absolutely abysmal night. When I say almost got run ruled, they were trailing by 10 in the sixth. They posted up one run in the bottom of the sixth. Good to see they were able to put a little bit of some offense behind it before it was all said and done. But I mean, it was such a rough night on the front end. Second inning was when the wheels started to fall off, and they just couldn't get back on again. Pitching was rough last night, and when pitching is rough, combined with slow hitting, it gets brutal. LSU was blanked until the fourth. 0-0-0 your first three innings, right? For LSU. Meanwhile, Northeastern scored 4 in the second and 6 in the third. LSU posted up 1 in the fourth. Northeastern had another run in the sixth. LSU had 1 run in the sixth, 3 in the seventh, 2 in the eighth, 3 in the ninth, but not enough to make that full-on comeback. I'm sorry, I left out that Northeastern had 2 more in the seventh. It just a tough go of it. These things happen over the course of a 56-game season, so I guess good to get it out of your system now would be the way to look at it. From LSU's standpoint, 1 day off. They'll be off today and then right back at it tomorrow at UL Lafayette. Meanwhile, women's basketball's got a couple days off before they're back at it. The LSU women's basketball team has the double bye in the SEC tournament. The Tigers could improve their NCAA tournament positioning, but I can't imagine by a whole lot. Head coach Kim Mulkey isn't placing a whole lot of significance on this tournament. Cut 20, please. Thing of it is, though, it's the conference tournament champion that earns the automatic bid, which I kind of agree with her. I would rather see the regular season tournament champion win the automatic bid because that is who has played the best, the most consistently throughout. Getting hot for a weekend doesn't make you the best team out there. Now, that being said, once you get to the big dance, you've got to get hot for more than a weekend. But it's all about not so much whether or not you've been the best team all year long, but who's playing the best ball at the right time. Now, how's this break down as far as getting us to that where they are right now, they're projected as a 2 seed. Getting us to that point though, LSU will play the winner of they're going to play one of 3 teams: Mississippi State, Florida, or Oklahoma. Today, Mississippi State will play Florida. That happens, I believe, just after noon today, if I'm not mistaken, 12:30. Then the winner of the Mississippi State Florida game will play Oklahoma tomorrow. That will be also at 12:30. The winner of that game then moves on to play LSU. Now, meanwhile, if LSU should beat Oklahoma or one of the other 2 teams, they will move on to play probably South Carolina. So they'll get another look at the Gamecocks in the semifinal round South Carolina's lineup looking not much different than LSU's as far as moving forward in the SEC tournament. Uh, Arkansas is going to take on Kentucky in the first round. That's going to happen at 10 o'clock this morning, believe it or not. Then the winner of that game will take on Georgia tomorrow morning. And then the winner of that game will take on South Carolina. So South Carolina is either going to Arkansas, Kentucky, or Georgia before moving forward to take on probably LSU if things play out. And then on the other side of the bracket, your other two double buys were for Vanderbilt and Texas. We are coming up on 620 at Talk 107.3 FM. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, kind of give you the rundown of what to expect today at the Solution Summit. So yeah, getting out of that studio and into another studio got it done. Are you creating a new studio every day? Okay. Do you see how many studios they have up there though? It's like there's a different every right. I don't understand why like each entity doesn't have one studio. I this is more than just you and me. I think this is an all team thing where everybody has to look at it and say, what are we doing here? It do. All right, Solution Summit. God, can I have stammered through that anymore? Do what? Oh yeah, the one you sent over. Yeah, that's what I just said. I said once I got out of that studio and into another one, I was able to make that happen. Sal? Yes. Hey, we got one more segment before yours, but okay. Did I tag the right Sal on Twitter? Did I tag the right Sal on Twitter? Cool. Time to head back to the Talk 107.3 Traffic Center. Here's what we got going on to start off your morning. I'm always a little discombobulated doing this when I'm not in the studio. We have got looking at the map here. We've got slightly heavier than normal delays out by Denham Springs, out by Livingston Parish. In fact, it backs up a lot sooner than normal. Normally, it's more compacted to right around the Range Avenue exit. Well, this backs up to well before that, where when you'll start to slow down. You'll actually start to slow down way back by Jubin. It gets really, really slow by Range and then picks back up again. You will slow down another time on 12 westbound by Sherwood Forest, but that picks up right away on into the 10-12 merge. Meanwhile, on I-10 westbound coming in from Ascension Parish, we look good. 10 eastbound coming in from West Baton Rouge Parish, we're looking good there as well. Surface streets, couple of items to look out for to start off your morning. About 10 minutes ago, report of a stalled vehicle. This would be Arlingford at King John Place. And then, you know what? That's inside Sherwood Forest subdivision. That's a residential. You don't have to worry about that one. Did have an accident on Main Street at Plank. That's up by Zachary, if I'm not mistaken. And another accident, airline at Stumberg. That could be in the way of a number of people's morning commute. That's your look at traffic from the Talk 107.3 Traffic Center. We're at 624 Talk 1073 FM at WBRP. On location this morning, packed up the show, left the friendly confines of the 180 Pros studio to hit the road. Didn't go far, though. We're still downtown Baton Rouge. We are at the Pelican Institute's 2026 Solutions Summit. This is one of the things I look forward to every year, y'all. I write down my pre-legislative session schedule like this. There are three main quote-unquote preseason games to look out for. Okay, if you want to make it like the NFL, we'll call them preseason games. Okay, there is Washington Mardi Gras, where you start to learn all the scuttlebutt and what's going to be hot, what people are interested in, what will be the main topics of the upcoming legislative session. Then you have Louisiana Association of Business and Industry's annual meeting, and you'll see great panel discussion that's normally focused on one of the issues that's going to be hot during the legislative session. And then you'll see their keynote speakers talking about something a little bit more broad, a little bit more high end. But between Washington Mardi Gras and Lobby's annual meeting, what you find there is the discussions in the hallway start zeroing in a little bit closer. You go from idea to plan. Now, when you get here to the Solution Summit, this is kind of the third game of the preseason, right? That doesn't mean you're benching your starters. No, the analogy has to stop right there. What that means is we have a much clearer idea of where things are headed. Bills have already been filed. They've been submitted. Your filing deadline's already over with. So from a legislative end, that's one of the things I love about this. The conversations are going to be going on. If you're watching us on Facebook Live, literally right behind you. There's going to be a breakfast buffet up there, and people are going to be chatting all around, sipping on some coffee, eating some bacon and eggs. So discussion-wise, we have a great idea of what's going to happen come next Monday, March 9th, when the legislative session opens. So very, very much looking forward to that end of it. Now, on the bigger ideas end, this is one of the things I love about the Pelican Institute and the Solution Summit is the fact that you get a great focus on a number of bigger topics as well, and just a number of great speakers and great guests. For example, the lineup they gave me this year, and yes, they handle my guest list and just hand it off and say run. Going to be joined by Sal Nuzzo in our next segment, Daniel Erspamer after that. Vance Ginn is going to join us in the 7 o'clock hour. Erin Bendley is another one who's with the Pelican Institute. She's going to join me in the 7 o'clock hour. 8 o'clock hour, we're going to talk regulation with Sarah Harbison. Actually, I wasn't told we're talking regulation with Sarah Harbison. I just know that that's her wheelhouse. And when we get to talking about it, I just let her rip and run. It's awesome. And then Pastor Joshua Robertson going to round out our guest list this morning. Now, that's my guest list. Let me give you the rundown for what the Pelican Institute has got going on this morning. Registration is going to open up at 8 o'clock, okay? And that's registration and breakfast going to be going on. 9 o'clock in the main ballroom, which, again, if you're watching on Facebook Live, you see the buffet behind me, the big doors behind that is the main ballroom. If you know the downtown Hilton, you know. Speaker Philip DeVilliers is going to give the opening remarks. After that, Christopher Butler from Americans for Tax Reform is going to give his Pella Talk, Taxes, Spending, and Economic Opportunity. Then there is going to be a panel discussion hosted by Lori White Adams, moderated by, I should say, Tony Bacala, Jack McFarland, Glenn Womack, and Mike Reese from the legislature, all taking part in that legislative leadership preview in that panel discussion. So great feedback on where the session's going there. Then 10 o'clock, the latest Pelican Pulse poll results will be revealed. The presentation will be by Dr. Erin Bendley. Your panel there will be John Kay, Gordon Reese, Julie Emerson, and Daniel Erspamer will be on that as well. Looking forward to that. You know what? I'll wait till Daniel gets here to see if we can get any sneak peeks, maybe a little peek behind the curtain on the latest Pelican Pulse poll. Then along that will be another Pella Talk, School Choice to Fulfill American Promises. This will be Pastor Joshua Robertson. He's joining us at 8:35. Cannot wait for this conversation. I love when we talk school choice with the people who are on the front lines of, I don't want to call it a battle, but the progress of the movement. Better schools across the board. It's a good thing. 11 o'clock brings us to what's called Second Chances for a Safer Solution. Andrew Hundley from the Parole Project's going to be on there. Actually, side note, be on the lookout for Andrew on this show a lot more very, very, very soon, at least 2 times, because I know I've got a huge stack of topics to cover with him. Also, Tyler Lane from Jerry Lane Enterprises, Renee DeLuche from Louisiana Department of Corrections, Heather Rice Minus from Prison Fellowship. That'll be moderated by Dwight Hudson he's with the Metro Council, but he's also on Right on Crime. Let's see. After that, here we go. Ridiculous regs and how to stop them. So talking regulation here, that of course will be moderated by Sarah Harbison. Sal News, our next guest is on that panel. Colleen Lindgren from the Pacific Legal Foundation, Patrick McLaughlin, Danny McFadden, and State Representative Mark Wright. Looking forward to that one. Time. Then over in at the same time, these are different panels going on in different rooms, right? There's the lead in technology, so American can lead the world. That's going to be going on in one of the rooms. Vance Ginn is going to be moderating that one, and you're going to have Patrick Hedger, Kevin Frazier, Logan Colas, and Heather Curry on that one. Let's bring you back around, if we could, to the big luncheon, because that's where a lot of folks hop in for the big time talk. There will be a panel discussion there with candidates from two different public service commission races. I believe it's the 5th district and the 1st district. Both have races going on this year. Very, very much looking forward to that. It's just, and I'm not even halfway through, y'all. I'm not even halfway through. It is so jam packed all morning long, and you're like forced to make decisions on. I'll go see this talk, but I'm going to miss out on this one. It's just nonstop. I kind of wish they would stretch it out to 2 days. Just so you wouldn't have to decide. You can map the whole thing out. All right, we got news, traffic, weather. Sal News is coming up next. You're up next.
Where would you like me?
Right here. And we're always on Facebook Live.
It's video too.
Yep. Facebook and YouTube. Although all the interaction happens.
Okay.
That's where all the comments come in and whatnot, and people
Interesting.
tell me what I'm doing wrong because I try to tech my own stuff.
Oh, I'm with you there.
Do the one man show
What
thing.
made you?
Likewise.
Yeah.
You have, and I'm gonna lead with this, by the way.
Sure.
The best Twitter description.
Which part?
The whole thing. You're the description of who you, because like, okay, I'll tell you. Let me tell you mine first, okay?
Okay.
All right. So mine is morning drive host and program director of Talk 173, host of the Cool Story Bro podcast, jack of all random media trades and fantasy football genius.
I love it.
All right. So yours was where did it go? Where did you go? There we go. Believer.
Yep.
ED of Consumers Defense.
Yep.
Holds record for most Taylor Swift lyrics used in U.S. Senate testimony. Yep. There's got to be a story behind there.
Well, the record is one Taylor Swift lyric. About 3 years ago, I was an invited witness to the U.S. Senate Judiciary Committee on the Ticketmaster Live Nation crash.
Apropos.
Yeah. And so it had happened as a result of the Taylor Swift debacle. And I, on the wise counsel of our comms person, incorporated a Taylor Swift lyric into my remarks. And it went mini viral because it was one of the few Senate hearings because of Taylor Swift that got a lot of coverage. And it made me fear for the future generation. They lumped me in with all the U.S. senators who did Taylor Swift lyrics, made me like I was and I'm like, I'm not a senator. And it was just like, yeah,
so good.
And then, the other part, Job 16:3, will your long-winded speeches and ramblings never end? Yeah, when you work in the political arena and have to attend a lot of legislative committee hearings. Yeah. But yeah, happy to expand out. Oh, sure. I'm honestly not as active on Twitter as I used to be.
Nobody is.
Yeah.
Everybody's kind of fallen off a little bit.
Yeah. I don't know if it is a result of changes that Elon made or just tired of the constant, yelling back and forth on it. But yeah.
It's it's one of the older social media platforms, it's gotten the crankiest.
Yeah,
Twitter and Facebook are the crankiest.
yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah.
It's kind of the equivalent of how old are you?
51 this month.
Okay, so you're only 2 years older than me. So
Okay.
when emails first started coming out and your parents first got an email,
Yeah.
and you started getting all the forwards.
Yes.
The forward.
Yes.
That's where Twitter is right now. Like it's
so true.
it went from, this great, like, I get the headline and I can click through, hey, what you say, brother? We didn't call you this morning. Hey, good morning. Okay. But yeah, when your dad would start forwarding the emails of, like, so that's kind of the equivalent right there.
It is so true. Now, you got everybody lined up for like the whole morning?
Yeah.
I think
Yeah, they give me 2 per hour.
excellent.
What are we talking about?
I got no clue.
Okay. What is your panel? Your panel
I'm
is
the
on.
deregulation panel.
Okay.
So our organization is the policy arm of the nation's oldest consumer protection group. Mainly the last 5 years, we have been working in state capitals to combat the scourge of ESG in its regulatory framework.
Okay.
So in the energy and environment space, in the healthcare space, in the financial services space, all of the little ways in which mainly the really radical elements of the left have been infiltrated.
Breland, how we looking? Okay, cool. All right. Let's get you this way just a little bit.
Oh, sure. We'll get cozy. Ah, there we are. All right. So is that a good? Yeah, there we are. Okay. Just look at the camera.
Let's see. Check it in on Facebook Live. 636 Talk 1073 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along, stepping outside the friendly confines of the 180 Pros studio this morning, which, by the way, visit 180pros.com if you get the chance. If you handle your company's IT or want to walk down the hall and shake the person who does, 180 Pros, they do it a little bit differently. They're not their IT, they're not your IT provider. They're your IT partner. And that means a whole lot of things. First and foremost, it means you are going to have a partner. You're going to have someone you can call and get same day response time. And I mean, call locally. They're at 225-330-2200. Also, simplified billing. Oh, you want to talk about the breeze of having a one-page invoice from your IT people as opposed to like 8, 9, 10 pages long, full of every line item that they could possibly nickel and dime you for? Not at 180 Pros. They do it different. 180pros.com. All right, happy to welcome aboard. We got Sal Nuzzo. He is I want to make sure I have the title right, a senior fellow at the James Madison Institute?
Well, yeah, I'd spent about a decade as their senior vice president. I'm still a senior fellow there, currently running as executive director of Consumers Defense, which is the policy arm of the nation's oldest consumer protection organization, Consumers Research.
Okay. Consumer defense means what exactly?
Well, over the last 5 years, we have largely been focused on combating ESG in the state capital. So wherever the regulatory kind of mechanisms have been manipulated largely by really radical elements of the left to promote either environmental, social, or governance scoring factors and whatnot. Our goal and aim is to combat that and kind of restore sanity to the markets, whether it's in energy and environmental regulation, financial services, healthcare, what have you.
This is a battle that happens on many fronts, and it happens weirdly because when you talk about ESG, you're talking about someone that works nationally or globally, but they have to hit individual states. So individual states don't necessarily get to team up together for the fight back. So it's always the Rocky versus Drago. It's always the David versus Goliath.
Yeah, and for the last several years,
you're leading with Rocky instead of David versus Goliath. That's just weird.
I mean, Rocky IV is the premier one, so we can dispense with that. But you're absolutely right. And over the time of the Biden administration, we really did not have much of a kind of a mechanism to attack this, federally. It is a global phenomenon. The EU and in particular the Chinese Communist Party are kind of teaming up and kind of hitting us from both fronts. So the fronts have been in state capitals where very kind of nuanced regulatory mechanisms can be kind of used by the left or by kind of our foes to advance an agenda that doesn't work at the ballot box, doesn't work in legislative chambers, but because they have been able to kind of manipulate these things, our kind of approach has been on defense during the Biden administration and now aggressively on offense to combat it.
If it doesn't work at the ballot box and it doesn't work in real time, what's the appeal?
Well, it's a religion for the left. It really is. It is, they kind of genuflect at the altar of climate change, of the trans agenda, of DEI, of all of these. They, the most radical elements truly believe that this is kind of the path to utopia. So those of us who, kind of still have brain cells, we kind of approach it in a way that, we have to combat it where they are.
Hard part about this is when you speak up against DEI, you're not speaking up against diversity. You're not speaking up against equity, and you're not speaking up against inclusion, but you're always portrayed as the bad guy who appears that way. How do you approach that battle?
Well, they have basically leveraged the word diversity to mean what they want it to mean. And our approach has been restoring the actual definition of diversity to the conversation.
Yeah, it's not just diversity of, you're not just picking a roster based off of filling in boxes. You want diversity of thought, you want diversity of background, you want real diversity.
Absolutely. And to that point, I mean, when we see organizations that are publicly traded companies, so they have a fiduciary responsibility to their shareholders, and they are proclaiming, well, we are going to have a corporate policy that requires or mandates the hiring of a specific race in a specific number, that is on its surface just absolute discrimination.
I don't understand why that's not viewed as dehumanizing. You're no longer a human. You're now a check mark. It's just that, to me, that is the most baffling part of the whole thing, is it loses its humanity.
You're absolutely right. And over the last 2 to 3 years, as we have had a lot of gains in state capitals, what we've seen is the radicals on the left have now shifted tactics, and they're pursuing court cases, they're pursuing litigation, they're pursuing a whole host of other ways that they can try to backdoor what they want to do into states around the country.
We're talking with Sal Nuzzo. He's going to be part of one of the panels on regulation, or more to the point, deregulation, here at the Pelican Institute Solutions Summit, the 2026 version. I want to talk about how this translates into, and not just DEI, but if we can move over to climate change as well, how this channels down to a force down of policy on a statewide level.
Yeah. So in particular, it started with energy and kind of the war on fossil fuels. So they wanted to embrace this net zero idea, which is the elimination of all fossil fuels in favor of basically only wind and solar to power the entire planet. And as any one sane, rational person would know, that is just an impossibility.
No, wind and solar will eventually have their place as a supplement to the overall equation. Anybody who walks down the all of the above approach is starting to get on the right path. But yeah, to replace something that we've built a centuries worth of infrastructure on, and we don't have the technology anywhere else, it's just foolish.
And to that point, one of the things I point out to lawmakers and to panels and whatnot, when we talk specifically about wind turbines, it takes 400 gallons of crude oil every single year per wind turbine just to keep the engine lubricated. So we have 75,000 wind turbines in the United States. That works out to 30 million gallons of crude oil every year just to lubricate the existing capacity of wind turbines, not to mention all the ones that they want to add to the portfolio in the US.
Is it crazy that it took Billy Bob Thornton and Landman to finally explain this the right way to the American people?
The funny thing about this is we were using this statistic about 2 or 3 years before Landman came out, and I'm trying to figure out where they got it, because it wasn't from me.
Ain't nothing clean about this energy.
Nothing at all.
Oh, but the thing is, like, again, you don't want to appear to be, you don't want to be the bad guy. You don't want to say no outright, but don't force me to base my business off of a model that's not economically viable.
Which speaks to the fact that solar and wind in particular are only feasible with massive amounts of government subsidies that effectively come from taxpayers. So we are footing the bill to subsidize inefficient, ineffective technology to power our grid.
As opposed to rerouting those dollars to R&D.
Exactly. And like you said, there may absolutely be a place for solar and wind as a supplement or complement to the existing portfolio. But to try and embrace this notion that fossil fuels are going away, it will be all wind and solar is just fantasy land.
Yeah, absolutely. We got about 2 minutes left with Sal Nuzzo. I got to redirect here, man. I'm looking forward to your presentation and whatnot. But you have what might be the best Twitter description under your Twitter handle. It says believer, ED of Consumer Defense.
Yep.
Holds record for most Taylor Swift lyrics used in a U.S. Senate testimony. Rabid defender of pineapple free pizza. Thank you for that mission. And Job 16:3. The most Taylor Swift lyrics used in U.S. Senate testimony. Tell me the story.
Okay, so I was an invited witness before the U.S. Senate Judiciary Committee to testify on the Ticketmaster Live Nation issue right after the crash of the website when Taylor Swift's new tour was coming online. I'd been involved in that kind of policy discussion for a couple of years, and so testified before the U.S. Senate Judiciary Committee. And because of the fact that it was a Taylor Swift thing, our folks who I worked with to prep remarks, we worked a Taylor Swift lyric into the testimony, as did a number of senators on the committee. And so it all kind of became viral. So the answer to the question is the record is one Taylor Swift lyric. Yes.
Okay. Do you remember what the lyric was?
Yes, it is. This is why we can't have nice things.
Okay.
And so I used it at the tail end. We were talking about what Ticketmaster's claims were, and then and why they thought they didn't need to be broken up. And I said a few million Taylor Swift fans would reply, "This is why we can't have nice things."
Well, I knew. Yeah. So.
Always a pleasure to be here in Baton Rouge in Louisiana to work with Pelican. Great team, and looking forward to today.
Talk 107.3 bringing you down. Legislative session starting Monday, March 9th. I'm going to pick it up. People preview 11 to 1. Well, let me say 11 to 1-ish. We run all the way up until the time that the governor gives his opening remarks. Join us Monday on Talk 107.3 FM. Quick break. Check traffic. Check your money now. Daniel Earthbomber joins us next. Awesome stuff.
Fun.
Very, very nice.
Oh, absolutely.
Very good stuff.
Absolutely. All right. We're gonna have some coffee before the next ones. They lined me up. Hey, speaking of Daniel Earthbomber. Dude, your team is like spot on. They like lined me up today. Yeah. Hey, man. Ready for the big day?
Ready or not?
Here we go. I'm gonna grab some coffee.
Yeah, please do.
Need it, right?
What? Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay. Good morning.
no last minute fires to put on. We're volume down, by the way. So
Yeah. No.
just video.
We had one.
As far as I know, just video. Hey, Facebook, are you hearing me right now? Holler if you're hearing me right now, Facebook. Because I did this in Washington, D.C., and I hot mic'd myself twice. No, was and yeah, so that camera has a mic built into it, but he can hear.
All right.
All right, we will.
Good to know.
Thank you, Alan. Pretty good sound. That's not what I wanted.
Morning, Jeff. How are you? Looking good. Yeah, I think we hit our attendance or our registration record. So.
The webcam microphone. Can I mute that?
You would think that would be an option.
Well, because when I go See, it's let me choose my mic, and my mic that's sending through there into here.
Huh.
You see how
I didn't.
look, as long as they can hear us, I'll know better than talk trash. Yeah, hot mic myself twice like a moron. It's okay, like do it once, fine, but then like I set up for another show and I forget what I was talking shit about the next time. All right, well then just know they can hear us.
All right,
So
that's good.
yeah. Pick up background decent but not overpowering. All right.
Thanks, Alan. Hey.
Is it better when I do this? You have a minute. 2 minutes. Pull it up on my end, see what's what. I'm not hearing anything there. You all right, but pull it up on my end. Oh, nope, there it is. All right. Damn it. Damn it. Oh well. And good morning, Christy. Since I don't have to have the mics on. I guess it doesn't matter if these are up or down then. So I might as well leave them pulled up so I don't have to mute somebody on the air.
Yeah.
You know, be worse.
Yeah.
Oh,
So I think you said you're gonna get to stick around a little bit.
yes. Yes. So first things first, I'll pick up my equipment, make sure it's all packed
Yeah.
up, ready to go. And I apparently promised myself to the Child Care Association of Louisiana Greater Baton Rouge. They have an early childhood road show at the library at 2.
Oh,
So
okay.
I might jet over there
Yeah.
and then hit carpool and then come back
Sounds good.
to
Back half of Walter
yeah.
party.
Yeah, it won't be till the party where I make it back because
Okay.
I thought it would be a Bible study till 4:20.
Got it.
Then
Yeah, we'll
drop
come
her
back.
off and head on back. So I'll be back in time for the closing party.
Okay.
We're coming back here. .652 at Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. We got Daniel Earthsbomber, who heads up the Pelican Institute, joining us right now. How are you, man?
I'm doing great. You ready to go?
You're welcome. I mean, how has this one been thus far? Smooth sailing? I mean, it's never smooth when you're putting on this big a show.
Yeah, there's always a million different details.
Yeah.
But it's pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What are you? I'm going to ask you to pick favorites. What are you looking most forward to? Looking forward.
I think 2 things. One, we've got the candidate forum for the Public Service Commission at lunch.
Mm-hmm.
That's a race that doesn't get as much attention as it
Oh,
should. It has a huge
So the thing is, here in Baton Rouge, the gas lines got sold off to Delta Utilities. So here, and I don't know how it is down in New Orleans in District 1, but there's a lot of people pissed right now.
Absolutely.
As they should be. Their bills have quadrupled and quintupled. And then Delta comes back and says the price of natural gas went up by 150%. Well, the price of my bill went up by 400%.
Right.
So make that math out for me.
Yeah, that's that is definitely simmering in a lot of different places.
Yeah.
So we will hear from 2 candidates from District 5, that's North Louisiana, and District 1 in St. Tammany, Tangi, St. Bernard, Jefferson. So we have 4 candidates from that district. So that'll be lunch. That'll be a lot of fun. And then our closing session with Walter Isaacson. I've been a huge fan of Walter's. I've read 3 or 4 of the big tomes he's written on Elon and Ben Franklin and Steve Jobs. And of course, his newest book is called The Greatest Sentence Ever Written.
I have not read it yet.
Well, I have a copy for you.
All right, cool. Because I'm only 4 books behind right now, so
That's not
I need to get caught up. Does Walter, has he given you all his topic? Is it going to be on his book?
Or on the book.
Awesome, very, very good stuff. And then of course the get together at the end of the night or at the end of the evening. It's a special guest. Do we?
Yeah, I can reveal it.
You can't. I don't want to put you because I'm going to ask you to reveal something else in a minute.
Oh,
but, okay, but special guest is?
Well, it will not surprise you. Our good buddy Dixon McMakin is
Oh
going to.
dear heaven! I know the rest of the sentence.
He's gonna have some fun with this.
Okay. Will he be the king?
Well, don't know. He might surprise us.
No.
I hope he's listening.
Oh, this is so good. It's got to be fattening. Oh, I love it. Daniel Erspommer from the Pelican Institute with us. Okay, so I'm going to pull back the curtain on something.
Yeah.
Not reveal all of it, but the latest the poll is coming out today. Is there anything you could tell us without like revealing all of it?
Yeah, I'll give you a little preview.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be the numbers are interesting, hot off the press. We got it back Thursday. So the one I suspect a lot of folks will have the most interest in is the Senate primary, the
Yes.
Senate primary. Interesting numbers. We have Bill Cassidy at 30% of Republican voters, Julia Letlow at 16%, and John Fleming at 15%.
Wow. Okay, so that's just for the primary.
Now that's right.
Did y'all ask the follow-up question about what happens when it's one-on-one?
We didn't yet.
Okay, well, because you don't know who it is going to be yet. But even still, with just those numbers right there, you're looking at 30 versus 30. Even if, like, say Fleming wins,
Yep,
and gets all of Letlow's, then it's a dead heat.
yeah, that's right.
That is
It's heating up.
very unexpected. Now, that being said, I know that there's some negative ads out there about Letlow right now. She has not thrown a punch yet.
Yep.
I don't like. And she's never kind of thrown a punch in her political career yet. So I'm curious to see what kind of fighting job she's got.
It's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
A bunch of money's about to be spent.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Let's get a kind of a sneak preview of the legislative session.
Yeah.
What do you think is going to be the hottest this year?
Well, top of our list, and I think already playing out in the press anyway, is the debate of the LA Gator program.
Yeah.
This gets so misconstrued and so confused. It's important, that everyone realizes this is about dollars, our state education dollars, following every child to the school that fits them best.
Yes.
And this is, sort of been positioned as a voucher or something like this. Is a very different program. This is a very different way to approach education funding. We've seen it now. 17 states have universal or on their way to universal programs, and we're stuck in neutral. We've got to, if whether it's, we'll be talking about these, whether it's taxes or economic development or whatever it is, other states are moving fast as well. We can't sit back and just look at what we've done and say, because there's been some good stuff, very good stuff.
Yeah. Well, and there's a whole bunch of people that send their kids to private schools, whether they can afford it or not, whether they have to work 3 jobs to get it done or not.
I hear you.
And just a little bit of help. I want it to be hard. It's what a parent should do.
Yep.
This is what life is. I want it to be hard because it is rewarding, but at the same time,
Well, and again, if we're committed to public education, if we're committed to the best outcomes we can, that means making sure every child is in the best environment for that. You know this, Brian. I have 4 kids. They're in 3 different schools in New Orleans, and that's because they all learn differently. They all approach this differently. And thankfully, my wife and I work hard, and we're able to provide that for our kids. Not everyone can,
right?
And if we're really going to make this commitment, we've got to make sure every child has that same opportunity.
For those who have never, and we've got about a minute and a half left, so we're going to bring it back around to today. For those that have never experienced the Solution Summit before, give us the overall preview.
Yeah, it's an opportunity to celebrate a little bit, to
Mhm.
come together and have some fellowship, and a little bit of a pep rally for the session that kicks off next week. And this is really a chance to sort of roll around and animate the policy ideas we talk about that can, get a little stale on paper sometimes, but we've got experts from all over the country, all over the
Sal was awesome, by the way.
Sal's a
They're
great
great.
friend for a long time. So we got imagine Sal's at the top of the list, but you've got a couple dozen folks like Sal here to share their wisdom and thoughts, and we're gonna rock and roll.
Well, my background, my vision of it is always like I go to Washington Mardi Gras, I get the overall ideas that are going to happen.
Yep.
You go to La B's annual meeting, and they're a little bit more formulated.
Yep.
I always look at this as like the last preseason game before kickoff.
That's it.
That's because you're going to get really targeted where we're headed once things get gavelled in next Monday.
And we're gonna hear from the Speaker, the Senate President, and the Chairman of the Money.
We're going to come in here and tell you why Gator can't. He's Danny Lawrence Bomber. You got a busy day, man. I appreciate you carving out a couple minutes.
My pleasure. Thanks, Brian.
Absolutely. We're coming up on 7 o'clock at Talk 107.3 FM. Hour 2 is headed your way. We'll check news, traffic, weather before we dive back in with our own top stories and trending. That's coming up next on Talk 107.3. All right. Well,
Cool. You need anything?
it's sucking down a Red Bull. So,
That should be.
appreciate the invite every year.
Of course.
It's already circled on the calendar,
Awesome. All right. See you soon, my friend.
What 3 schools?
Ursuline, De La Salle, and Haldane.
Okay.
My oldest is graduating Ursuline, and the third child is about to start at Ursuline.
Your oldest graduating, she's a what?
She's a Phoenix. Used to be Sue.
Okay.
But not anymore.
Christy was a skip.
Okay. Yes. And then my new one coming in is a Mac.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
I'm Southern Miss. 2 at Mercy right now. So next year it'll be Southern Miss, St. Joseph's, and Mercy. And dude, I gotta tell you, shit gets real when your kid moves. And you start thinking about it and you're like, they're not coming home.
Yeah.
They've got no reason to come home.
So closer we get to that graduation date, that's becoming real.
Yeah, I'm like, she's got a boyfriend from Mobile. And I'm like, no, they're gonna look.
Yeah.
So it's not gonna, but like that's where the mind starts going. It's like if they stay together, what's her draw?
Right.
They're gonna start selling Covington hard.
That's
Yeah. That's heaven on earth, man.
We love Covington.
No, it's where I grew up.
That's right.
So yeah.
That's
Well,
good.
all good. Get after
I'll
it.
see it.
Yeah.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you.
Oh, me too.
Will do. Oh, thank you so much. No, all good. All set. We're good. I would absolutely love to know how to figure this out to where I don't have the microphone from the camera. Do what? Oh, that the microphone in the camera is staying on. So I've actually got two microphones on at once. And like I can't change the settings. What if I do that? Did that do anything? Good. Did that do anything? Well, I can't tell now if I did anything or not. Well, I can't tell now if I did anything. Nope, I didn't do anything. Oh, wait, that microphone's still on. We'll find out next break. 7:05 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Hour two coming your way right now. Brian here with you. Breland back in the friendly confines of the 180 Pros studio. We are on the road today. We are out on location at the Pelican Institute's annual Solutions Summit 2026 version. If you were curious about what's going on at the Solutions Summit, check out pelicanpolicy.org/solutions-summit. PelicanPolicy.org, the home base for the Pelican Institute online. We're going to be out here at the Capitol Hilton throughout the day. I'll be carrying it 6 till 9. Moon Griffon will be by at, he'll be doing from 9 till noon, right straight across from where I'm at right now. In fact, I'm looking at our normal Tuesday guest, Jeff Carrere, is about to get his show cranking up right across the way. Did not have Jeff on this morning as we fill out the roster from the Solution Summit rundown, and Jeff was obviously en route at the time. So a whole lot going on at the Solution Summit. We are going to talk with this hour Vance Ginn from the Pelican Institute. We're also going to talk with Aaron Bendeley as well. Both of them have really cool roles as moderators this morning. I'm trying to scroll through to find their particular breakout sessions. Vance has got in the Silicon Bayou, lead in technology so America can lead the world. Love that. He's going to be speaking with Patrick Hedger from NetChoice, Kevin Frazier from the Abundance Institute, Logan Colas from the American Consumer Institute, Heather Curry from Policy Edge. We'll get to Vance in a little bit. Right now, though, let's get the top stories and trending. Starts us off in St. George. Lipsy's Guns is opening a new office and distribution center. The new facility broke ground along Highland Road next to Rufino's on Friday. The company employs about 200 people. The new facility is likely to expand the company's workforce. The Advocate reports that the new building will replace Lipsy's current headquarters at Exchequer and Riga Road. Keep forgetting I don't have a printed version of this, so I got to go back to my other page. Starting today, Baton Rouge has a new news outlet. RedIBR.com is the name of the digital startup. It'll be focused on local policy and politics. It's being headed up by J.R. Ball and Mukul Verma, two veterans to the Baton Rouge news game. RedIBR is starting as a free email newsletter, but they plan to add paid tiers in the future. You know what? I should probably check my email to make sure I got my first one, as they just got rolling today. Today was launch day. Former Congressman and CDC Principal Deputy Director Ralph Abraham will be the campaign chair of Congresswoman Julia Letlow's Trump-based campaign for U.S. Senate. Abraham, who also served as Louisiana Surgeon General, left the CDC last month, and when he stepped down, he had cited family obligations. BRPD announced yesterday that it's investigating a shooting that occurred near 225 Fest. According to the department, the incident occurred near the levee around 4:50 p.m. on Saturday when a fight between two juvenile males escalated into a shooting. Reportedly, no one was hurt. And by the way, if you were downtown Saturday, did you see how wild 225 Fest was? I mean, I don't mean wild in a bad way. Yes, there was this incident, but man, hey, if there was 10,000 people, I wouldn't have been surprised. Governor Jeff Landry announced yesterday that he has received federal authority to extend the Louisiana National Guard's deployment in New Orleans by another 6 months. According to Landry, about 120 Louisiana National Guard soldiers will remain in the city to assist in public safety operations, focusing on crime reduction. So on its face, that doesn't look good, right? On its face, it's like, well, why do you need Congress's approval to go out this longer than you think you should? Well, 60 days. I mean, that's 2 months, right? I don't know that they're going to need it. Well, let me put it this way. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says this is not going to be an extended war, and it's going to be over quickly. Donald Trump was on with Jake Tapper yesterday, or Jake Tapper interviewed Donald Trump yesterday. I don't watch a whole lot of CNN, so I didn't see it on the TV. But on Tapper's social media, he put out a little video recapping the conversation with the president. And one of the things that President Trump told Jake Tapper yesterday was, we're looking at about a 4-week war, 4 weeks worth of strikes. He said, we're looking at about 4 weeks, but we're ahead of schedule. So whatever that means. Hopefully this war powers resolution is strictly precautionary. We're in it already. It's March 3rd and it's already election time. I mean, we got ours. I know. And we've got ours coming up in May, and then a runoff in June, and then actual elections in November. It just, I don't like closed primaries. This is one of the reasons I don't like closed primaries, because we're never not in an election cycle. You know how it's like how the NFL is spread out the schedule to where the NFL is never irrelevant. I mean, you go from Super Bowl to the combine, from the combine to the draft, from the draft to OTAs, from OTAs to preseason. There's always a time to be dialed into the NFL on some level. I need a break. I can't do elections 24/7, 365. I can't. This level of this fever pitch of sprinter's pace to run a marathon. It's just not sustainable. I'm worn the you know what out. I would like to, hey, look. Oh, go ahead. Right. You add that to it, it doesn't help. But like, it's when it comes to elections, they get nasty. And when they get nasty, we have a tendency to hate each other. When we all hate each other, I don't think our nation's at its best. This is why I hate politics and love governance. Once that session gavels in on Monday, the arguments change. The tenor of everything changes. It's looking to move an agenda forward, not to vilify people. It's something completely different. It's about service, not about ego. It's about service, not about mudslinging. So I just right. Well, as a radio station, we kind of win. I mean, they need to advertise twice now, right? Mm-hmm. I love this. I love this. So if I've got the app and someone's wearing the smart glasses and I don't know if they're recording me or not, this will tell me if they're recording. Will it tell me if they're recording me or just that the glasses are smart? On. Okay. All right. I'm here for it though, because I live under the impression that I'm constantly being recorded. And right. Always assume, don't let Washington Mardi Gras fool you. Always assume a hot mic. Absolutely. But going along with that though is this, we're in a world now where I wouldn't mind having a little alert go off if someone walks up. I was I was having conversations around Christmas time. It's just before Christmas. I was having a conversation with somebody, and I couldn't tell if they were smart glasses or not, but I thought they were. And so the entire time, I'm like, I'm being recorded. I know I'm being recorded right now. I know, complete paranoia, but for good reason. Oh. We are, what are we at right now? We're at 7:13. We're about a minute or so behind. Not to worry, we'll pick back up in just a second. Do need to remind you about the folks over at Landmark Bank. LandmarkBankLA.com is the website. LandmarkBankLA.com. Highly encourage you to visit LandmarkBankLA.com. Hit the About Us tab, then get your locations and hours. Okay. The reason for that is you want to be near those locations. That is where you will find Landmark Bank as a community bank, and they have been since 1897. They take that role very seriously. They take that mission very seriously. When you have a community bank, you have someone who's going to be here for you, a banker who's going to be here for you. Whether you're talking about personal banking, business banking, someone that you see at the grocery store, someone that you see at hot yoga, I don't care where, just someone that you see who knows what your life is knows a little bit more about what your life is like and life in the community. Learn more at landmarkbankla.com.
What's happening?
What's going on, man? You been all right?
Doing all right. How are you?
Doing well.
Excellent.
Glad to have you back in the roster this
I know.
year.
I'm excited.
We
Missed each other last week.
yeah.
We got each other on the radio not too long ago. It was what distance, wasn't it?
Yeah.
A month or so ago.
Yeah, about
We
that.
talked about the Louisiana economy and stuff like that. But anyway, what do you want to talk about today?
We're gonna start with your panel discussion. which
Okay.
You've got lead
Technology.
technology so America can lead the world.
Yeah. That sounds good. Ah,
By the way, we're always on Facebook.
okay.
As far as I know, I'm doing my best to.
I mean, do I need to speak over everything or that's good?
No, you're on. You're in the. Yeah, damn it. So there's a microphone in that camera that I don't know how to turn off. So that's never dangerous, you know.
Yeah.
It's gonna get bad once this place fills up. Right. So
Oh, it's gonna pick it up.
yeah.
No way to mute it or like.
I need everything just to come out of here and not out of there. So yeah, no, I don't.
Did a new one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, that's where I'm supposed to be.
Okay.
It shouldn't be the speakers.
No.
It should just be the microphone.
Yeah.
Oh,
don't know.
is this us? Oh,
Do
yep. $7:17 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Go ahead and pull that out of the there. Thank you, Breland. Broadcasting live from the Pelican Institute 2026 Solutions Summit. Been really looking forward to the entire day. One of the breakout sessions in particular that has caught my eye is Silicon Bayou. Leading technology so America can lead the world. The moderator of that discussion will be Vance Ginn with the Pelican Institute for Public Policy, who joins us right now. How are you, man?
I'm doing well. How are
Whoa,
you?
hey, I turned you down.
Oh, okay.
There we
There,
go.
I'm back.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. I'm doing well. How are you doing, Brian?
I'm doing very well as well.
Beautiful day. Tuesday morning. We got things rocking and rolling.
Well, and this summit every year, I swear, it's y'all do such a good job of making sure that so many ideas are represented and presented, and we get a better grasp of not just a 10,000-foot view of the idea, but how to put it into application.
Yeah.
How next Monday, when they gavel in right at the road, when they gavel in, how it can turn into, how a bill, how we learn from Schoolhouse Rock how a bill
Yeah.
becomes a law.
Right.
Well, out here we learn how an idea becomes a bill, basically.
Exactly. We're always applying first principles to these things, making sure that we have limited government, free markets, free enterprise, you know, and allowing for people to prosper. That's really what this is all about. So we've got to start it here with the discussions, you know, getting into the white paper sometimes that we nerdy people like to nerd out on. But that's where it kind of starts. We get those ideas going, and that way you can put it into law starting hopefully next week.
Lead in technology so America can lead the world. Give us a sneak preview.
Well, the sneak preview is that technology is good for us.
Mm-hmm.
It allows for us to advance and progress, and that's been throughout recorded history. No matter what you talk about, there's got to be some sort of new innovations, and technology gets a lot of fear, a lot of pushback, and I get that. But at the same time, we've got to accept it and make sure that it's allowing for us to be a tool to improve our lives versus a substitution or AI or something along those lines.
Okay, you brought the magic
All
letters.
right.
You brought up the magic letters right there. I assumed that the bulk of this topic is going to be about AI.
Yeah. Because that's in the news and everything else.
Well, but yeah, I mean, it's everywhere we turn now.
Yeah.
Are we utilizing it yet? Are we on our way? Where are we right now in Louisiana?
Well, can I ask you something? Do you use AI at all?
Daily.
Daily. I do too.
Mhm.
And I think most people do. And some people do and don't even know it.
Right.
When they use their GPS, they're using AI.
Right.
When they're using their smartphone, there's AI all in there. You know what I mean? So we're using it all the time. But I think it's going to allow us to have even more productive gains over time.
Mhm.
And some jobs will be displaced. There'll be other jobs, just like with any other sort of innovation. Because that seems to be the fear is, okay, or is AI going to take us over? I don't know about that. I can't forecast that. Or is AI going to take over our jobs, right? And I haven't seen that throughout history. There have been displacements, but then there are other jobs and innovations and even sectors that we don't know about that could come up.
Well, okay. So, will it take over our jobs, or will it make jobs obsolete? That's like not necessarily what. For example, the car did not take over the job of the horse-drawn carriage, but it made it obsolete.
Mm-hmm.
So, is that where we're headed? That's the right the question.
I think so, right? Just to be honest about it, I think there are going to be some software coders who are losing their jobs now. We've seen that across the economy because now you can put that into Claude or ChatGPT. You pick your device, and it can do those things.
Right.
But I think there's also ways that we got to think about how beneficial it is to us in healthcare and AI. This could revolutionize. It is revolutionizing how we deal with healthcare. Second opinions, multiple opinions.
We have a fantastic partnership on this show with Franciscan Insurance, with Our Lady of the Lake. Do a Medical Monday segment every single Monday, and I've done a number of segments with them on how they're implementing AI, not just on the diagnosis end, not just on the patient's records end, but like you said, the second opinion end, where a second opinion can actually be a 99th and 100th opinion, all wrapped into one based off of your history as a patient, based off of the application of not just your history as a patient, but what you have in common with other patients. What I mean, if you have similarities between 2 or 1,000 patients, and they can lead you to a better diagnosis, not based off of your particular history, but the overall, just the way you could factor so much into this is amazing.
It is, and the speed that it can do it in.
Oh, yeah.
You get it right then, that second opinion. You don't have to wait for a while. The other big thing is in education.
Mhm.
I think it's also going to help revolutionize education to better meet the needs of those kids. Which can be,
How I'm trying to think of the right way to phrase it.
Okay. All right.
We run the risk of while it's in education, we can also get dumber through.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Smartphones make us dumb.
Yeah.
Well, maybe if you have
Yeah.
if you have all the complicated things, it's good notice to advance your brain to learn to remember how to compute.
Yeah.
So it like that's a double-edged sword on that front.
It can be. I remember when I was 5 for Christmas, I wanted an encyclopedia. My mom got me encyclopedias. You know, you're looking at all those things, but you know, if I had grown up more with the internet, you know, that was later on, you know, dial up and all that other stuff going on. But we had all that information with AI. We can also search quickly to get that information, because you also got to think about it. The people who really want to learn more can learn faster than ever now. Well, so I get your double-edged sword, but I think that we also you tend to do whatever your habits are. And I hope that in the future we learn how to deal with AI better. We don't allow for it to make us stupid. I know that sounds tough, but I don't think that's a regulatory or government sort of approach. That's more a personal responsibility and what the family is trying to do. And so what we're kind of talking about today is let's just be careful of how much we overregulate and overtax AI, or not AI, but just technology in general.
All right, so that is actually a different part of the conversation, and to me, well, because I'm a nerd, a much more fun part of the conversation as well.
Yeah.
In that, while all this is out there, and while we know it's all coming, we can't stand in the way of it.
Yeah.
Or else we're going to lose the potential of what it can be.
Yes. Yeah. Amen. Well, and even Vice President JD Vance talked about it last year when he was in Paris. He was giving this speech, and they were asking about AI and everything.
That wasn't him. That was Sora.
So too early, man. Just quick.
Okay, sorry. I'm a Red Bull deep, so I'm
Hey,
good.
there you go. But what he said was, look, if China and everybody else has AI and they're building and doing things, we're going to be losing out on that AI and tech race
Mhm.
if we stifle it with our own regulations here.
Right.
We have to be careful of what happens there, and I think that's right. I think that we got to make sure that it's not only Europe and what they're doing, which they're stifling a lot of their regulations right now.
Yeah,
and that's going to hold them back.
right.
China is going to keep moving forward, and if they're an adversary forever for us, wouldn't we want to have the best technology to compete with them if something happened for national defense, for economic, and everything else? I think we do.
Let's talk about technology that's not AI.
Okay.
What else is out there right now that is piquing your interest?
Well, it's related in some sense, but this issue of like data centers.
Yeah.
You talked to me. Is that something on your mind, or you hear about?
It's hard for it not to be.
Yeah.
We just got the word like it was last week or 2 weeks ago
Mhm.
about Jeff Bezos opening up in Shreveport.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, in what world would you imagine Jeff Bezos and 50 Cent finding the same home?
Right.
Like it would. Both those people said yes to Shreveport. Like I'm not knocking my friends in the 318. I'm not. But like, zoom out. Come on.
Yeah.
So, but
That
no,
is wild.
we had Meta over there in Monroe, or just east of Monroe.
Yeah.
You got we got the one that's coming to West Feliciana as well, and then you got Amazon up there in Shreveport. My guess is there's probably going to be at least 2 more pitched within the state over the next 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
If I'm being completely honest, St. Tammany Parish is ripe for one.
Mm-hmm.
Based off of the lay of the land and how they're mapping out their infrastructure and building out their power grid.
Yeah.
It's almost as if they're saying, let's be ready to have one if one comes our way.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
You're going to see in St. Tammany the same pushback that you see anywhere they pop up where, okay, what's going to be the challenges on the grid?
Right.
What's going to be the challenges with cooling?
Yes.
All of these.
The water,
Right.
electricity usage, and everything else. In San Marcos, Texas, just north of San Antonio, they were going to open this $1.5 billion data center, 260 acres and all this stuff. Well, there was a large protest at the city council that came in and they knocked it down. The city council actually voted it down. And so now that's not going to happen. That reduces the economic effects it's going to have in that area. I'm an economist, so I think about that as well. But also it's going to stifle some of the future. Because when we were just talking about AI and all the things we use, our smartphone and hospitals, you know what powers all that? Data centers.
Yeah.
So if we stifle that, it's not going to happen. So hopefully Louisiana will continue to be the place where they can move to, with the understanding that the electricity usage, a lot of electricity is within the data center itself. With those servers and the computers, there's a lot of electricity that's being built that they can end up using, or they can build their own. Some are using small modular reactors and other ways of having their own instead of connecting to the grid. And by the way, they price this all in with the electricity that they use. They paid for this along the way.
And that's part of it gets lost in the discussion here. Well, the locals have to pay for what the big guys moving into. I don't know that that's the case.
No, but why don't we do this with any other sort of buildings?
Right.
We don't say they need their own independent electricity usage or blame them for higher prices all around.
Because to scale, I don't think anything draws as much as a data center would.
Yeah.
I mean, if you wanted to build out like, the Amazon distribution center, 2 hospitals, and an entire stadium all in the same. Well, now you're talking about the same kind of pull, right?
Yeah. But I think that's where some of these new technologies that they're using allow them to have more electricity within itself, not having to pull as much from the grid.
Right.
In fact, there's some research going on now which will allow them to add more electricity to the grid for everything that's in there,
which can feed back to everybody else.
Correct. So it could actually be lower prices with more supply. And I think that's the big part of our push at Pelican is we need more energy supply.
Yeah.
We're talking about a lot of demand and how to get rid of that. But the supply and abundance is the way that we'll have a more prosperous future.
And with that, then there's an age-old adage: do not let the perfect be the enemy of the good.
Yeah.
And where we're at right now with data centers, we're in a position where we can have good. We can learn from it to make it better along the way, but we got to start.
Yeah.
And unless you start, you can't improve.
Yeah.
And that's the part that worries me is we constantly find ourselves, especially in Louisiana, we find a reason to be Chicken Little. We find a reason to say the sky is falling. We find a reason to punt on something. Texas moves in and takes it.
Yeah.
And then we're left behind.
Yeah. No, that's
And
exactly
and but you see here, you're telling that San Marcos, Texas, they actually have already said no. So,
Yeah.
oh, look, we could pass them up in some.
Yeah. So maybe that sets a bad precedent.
Right.
Hopefully not.
Right.
The other thing too is with water, what's kind of interesting with this is that they're starting to use closed loophole water usage. So
Yes.
they're recycling it all over and over again. Where oftentimes there's a good number about golf courses, how much water they use can actually be more times than what a whole data center could use because of the loop system that they have within it and the way that they recycle the water. Then.
Very cool stuff.
Yeah.
And that only gets learned by having the data center.
Yeah.
It's you
Yeah.
don't have necessity is the mother of invention.
Mhm.
Until the necessity is created, the invention isn't.
Yes. No, amen. I think too, one of the things to think about is think about like the computers we use today. You have your laptop right there. They used to be in a whole room,
Yeah.
right? You
Yeah.
couldn't even have a personal computer because it was so expensive, like the mainframe computers. Now we have them right here. We have them in our phone, in our pockets with our phone. And so I think we got to think too, data centers may not always be as big as they are.
Mhm.
And so you may not need that much land. Well, then maybe we can have more because I don't think data is going to go away. We're going to keep using more and hopefully innovate more.
Absolutely. So how do you shrink it on the front end?
Mhm.
That's the important
Yep.
part. We got 30 seconds
Okay.
left. Aside from your panel, what are you most looking forward to today?
I'm looking forward to hearing about the budget. I'm also a fiscal guy and what's going on with taxes, how to continue to bring the taxes lower in Louisiana. We're starting to see some growth shoots
Yeah.
over the last year or so. Let's keep that going
Mhm.
because there's a lot of good momentum that's already here.
He is Vance Ginn with the Pelican Institute. Greatly appreciate you carving out a couple minutes this morning. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.
Always. We are coming up. We're at 7:30 right now. We're coming up on news. We'll check news. We'll check traffic. We'll check weather. Keeping with the Pelican Institute, we talk with Aaron Bendeley when we come back. Don't forget, y'all, next hour, Sarah Harbison, probably talking regulation.
Yep.
He's guessing.
Uh-huh.
And then Pastor Joshua Robertson. Right now, here's news. All right. Good to go.
It's fun.
Always.
Yeah.
Always.
Definitely.
Thank you. Appreciate it. That's
It'll be a fun discussion today.
Heard the wild rhetoric.
Yeah, you probably did.
Hey, that's go a long way. I heard way back home.
Wow.
Yeah, my brother called it 5. He said, it wasn't calling Moses. I took I'm still
For today.
unless this one's you. And it said John this morning. Said, I want to, I live in Scotland in 49. Went to Cross Springs. It's right. I kind of wondered if it was backing up because they would have been any trap.
Wow. Wow. Okay, it's okay. We were having fun.
What's wrong with it?
So
You do.
Not that I could see.
obvious and recognition.
Point two.
So
Yeah.
I should do it. Well, you might have it. I'm saying that. Yeah. Right, like, you know, it's like, you know, got a
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it's but then like if China leaves with that, we don't even have. It's like I don't think that doesn't have here. They don't at least start a block. Not place, right? Yeah, no, right. We can place it like Italy, like the I'm sure I was
Yeah.
so so that is just anything like that. It's just that to be which other statements will
Yeah.
okay. That's what we're yeah.
Like, well, let's check for other. Like, buying this one. Like, oh, we can take this one. Here comes another one. Let's good talk. All right.
Yes. Good to go.
How are you?
I'm fantastic. And yourself?
Well,
Good.
Yeah.
That's and I don't know why, but I can't turn the microphone off. It's built into the account. So we're always on Facebook and YouTube.
Yeah.
And one day I'll be able to figure that out. I'll be a problem with being a one-man show. You know?
you need a teenage intern to help you with some things.
I mean, I would settle, it'd be nice to come out with a full-on tech, but I'd settle for an intern.
Making breakfast.
Hey, Scott, how's it going? Good, how are you?
I'm good. Yeah.
So we're bounced off one and we radio it. It's good.
Yeah.
You gonna work something? What you got in there? Nothing for sure. Oh, nice, nice. It's nice on people. We're all on you. That's really good.
All right, so what do you want to talk about?
I can talk about air.
I think.
Basically, the ability of.
Yeah, yeah.
Towards
Cool.
Okay. See the headline this morning?
Okay.
Well, I can't click on it because my password's not working. And it's behind the paywall,
Let's do your more.
right?
Which school system?
St. James. Yeah, that's in the part under the paragraph or under the photograph. So, yeah, it says 60 years after residents sued in racial segregation at St. James Parish School District, a federal judge found inequalities remain. Yeah. Seven 36 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along, diving back into our coverage of the Pelican Institute's 2026 Solution Summit in just a second. Got to remind you about the folks at the Baton Rouge Metro Airport. FlyBTR.com is the website. Love directing you to FlyBTR.com every single morning. I can tell you that if you hit up FlyBTR.com, I love telling you about the daily flight to Washington, D.C. Bad news this morning with bad weather in Washington, D.C. Closures at Reagan National have canceled that flight, but everything else flying out of Baton Rouge this morning has either arrived, is currently in the air, or is still scheduled and on time. Everything minus DC is looking good all at flybtr.com on the arrivals front and the departures front. Look, we have a fantastic airport in our own backyard, and the benefits that come along with flying out of our own backyard far, far outweigh anything else that I put in the equation. I ask you as well, when you're making your travel plans, take into account the whole picture. The drive all the way down in the world, the exorbitant parking rates, all of it. Learn more at flybtr.com. Back into our coverage of the Solution Summit. Aaron Vendley joins us now. Good morning, Aaron. How are you? Doing very well as well. We got a lot of ground to cover this morning. I want to start off with your panel. You are moderating the Not Done Yet, Not Giving Up, Expand Educational Options for Louisiana's Children. Tell me all about it. Give us a sneak preview.
Well, there are obviously a number of issues we want to talk about in the K-12 education. But with limited time, we're going to focus our attention on two things. Number one, top of mind with a lot of families right now. What's going on with the LA Gator Scholarship Program?
Mhm.
What's the latest? It's actually the application season for that program right now. So families are applying right now for opportunities for their children in the 26-27 school year. So we'll talk about the status of that program, certainly the funding, that's needed to accommodate all of these thousands of families that have applied for this opportunity for their kids. And then we'll spend some time talking about something that certainly isn't new for Louisiana, but there's still work to be done. And that is what's called open enrollment. A lot of people may refer to it as public school choice. So essentially what we're talking about is instead of a child being assigned to a single school based on where they live, the longstanding geographic attendance zones. There's this thing called school choice within the public school system where you get to choose within your local school system which school works best for your child based on their individual needs. And sometimes that option might actually exist outside of your school system in a neighboring district. This is a law that was passed in Louisiana many years ago. It opened up some limited opportunity for some families and their children, but we have a long way to go. Many other states are really passing this up. Blurring those lines or even getting rid of those lines. There's a national campaign underway called No More Lines, which I think is really exciting for Louisiana to think about this as the next frontier of enhancing those options.
Walk me through this because the look sounds counter. Kids aren't waiting at the bus stop at 5 o'clock in the morning. So what? It falls down. Yeah, we can travel.
Well, I think it all boils down to putting the power in the hands of families to know their kids best. We certainly know that a lot of families are still going to choose their neighborhood school, and that's certainly their right. And I always tell families, if your child is in a public school that's working for them and it's convenient for you, and everything else works out, you're a blessed person, stick with it, do what works for your child. We know that's not the case in all situations. And so this just broadens their options within the public school system. Even here in Baton Rouge, where I live, there are some options. We have magnet schools, we have schools that focus on the arts, sciences, foreign language, different things. But those options are limited. And so this is a way, I think, for local school systems to work more with their communities to say, we have operated in this, attendance zone mechanism for many years. Let's see if we can just offer some greater flexibility. Certainly, there are a lot of logistics to figure out, transportation being one of them. There are some states that make transportation a part of this. Other districts say, no, if you exercise this option, we may not be able to offer transportation. So, you have to look at these cases, one for one. But we know that it can work. And I think we owe it to their families to try.
That's the difference between the whole month. And then, great examples, I can't remember, speaking of, they might live in the prairies and what is their food, takes them and moving in here, they move along now. That makes sense.
That's right.
Your proximity doesn't matter. That makes sense.
Absolutely.
So not closing the book on that, you don't wait to put them with them.
Absolutely. And I think we have to acknowledge that, I know the law says that public schools, are required to serve all children. They must provide services, but in reality, public school teachers will tell you every school can't be everything to all kids. And I think we have to just be real, that we expect a lot of our schools and our educators, and our children have such diverse needs and strengths, and interests, passions with what they want to do with their lives. So, this is an opportunity to take all of that into consideration to say, how can we try to accommodate children and families in very, very different ways? There's got to be a way to make this work. And we know it's possible. There are plenty of schools that are across our state that do this. 3 school districts already in Louisiana are schools of choice. A lot of people don't realize that. So it's not as though this is unheard of. This is a matter of scaling it and trying to make sure that it's available regardless of where you live. Lafayette has been doing this for a long time. Tangipahoa Hope Parish, and also Rapides.
Okay. Right. So it's not like we need a bunch from the
That's right.
These family, urban and rural.
Yeah.
That's very, very cool stuff. We've got Erin Bentley in with us. Her background is let's get back around to the Gator scholarships and talk from a political perspective, because I know the governor wants more. I know we all want more. But the heads in the legislature are kind of saying pump the brakes a little bit when it comes to the money. Are we in a decent place to advance forward, or I don't want to ask who's right and who's wrong, but like who's wrong? Or do we need to pump the brakes a little bit on how much we're spending? Because every investment you make, you got to make for 12 plus years. So if we've got $100 million in now, that's committed for 12 plus years. If we add to that, it's so is there a right or a wrong answer here?
I would say that based on what we've seen. Characteristics of the we know that the vast majority of students we would be paid for their education anyway,
Okay.
because they these are relatively lower income families. And so, you know, I think that's very for our learning. If we're going to pay for their education anyway, state government, we the entity to say where they should get their education and how they should get their education. Or should we empower the parents to put them in a school or a setting that they know based on their needs is best going to reach the goal of enriching their students?
Now, for those who the state isn't paying their education anyway, where is there room for that in this equation as well?
Well, after years very healthy service study, the governor streamline programs. Then a number of months ago, they found $1 billion in savings. I have a hard time before the meeting that this is really in this money. I would argue also that this is industry priorities. I would argue that just like 17 other states, there's not a single state that's funding that is allowing back those efforts.
Right.
Instead, they are going to pay and making an effort to talk about a lot of things that was economic development. Stopping the brain drain. You know, providing a great way of their families to educate their kids is certainly be part of that. So we can't afford to break science.
No, I guess the way I'm asking the question though is because we had Daniel on earlier and you know, parents of private school children. Those who are, of course, paying for the public schools because of their taxes, but also, you know, working 3 and 4 jobs in order to keep that paid as well. Is there relief in the near future on that front?
Well, I mean, as you may recall, there's a phased in system for the Gator program. It starts with certain families first in phase 1, and then it moves to phase 2, and then ultimately phase 3 to university. We're still very early in this game. We're still in phase 1 in the very early stages of phase 1. So we certainly hope that we can get to universal as quickly as possible because you said it, a lot of families are sacrificing right now. Some are able to do it on their own through great sacrifice. Many still are not. But at a minimum, we have, 34,000 families right now that are eligible in the very early stages, you know, meaning they're low income, they have children with special needs, their child attended a public school last year. These are not even some of the categories that you mentioned. These are some of the, you know, the state has determined the priority categories, and we're not even accommodating them yet.
Oh, no, and absolutely. That my wife and I so, and it's the best money we're ever spent. And we're totally on board with that. Yes, absolutely. There's the rise of confidence on the kids. If you ask why someone else's education is important to me, it's because, well, we live here.
And Brian, I would also argue that, you know, these discussions that we're having, you know, they're totally fine. They're appropriate questions. But I also have to wonder sometimes, year after year after year, even in the past couple of years, we've not had discussions and debates like this when it came to adding money to the public school system.
Oh no!
How many millions of dollars have we added to the public school system over the past several years when enrollment has been continually declining?
Yeah.
But we have pumped more money into the system with very little discussion, very little scrutiny.
Right.
But, you know, so again, I just think, you know, a more robust discussion is needed here about priorities and who really gets to make the call at the end of the day. And how are we going to honor what we said we believe in, which is parents know their kids best and are in the best position to make decisions.
Now, talking about spending money in the public schools, we got a minute and a half left. So, and we got Aaron Bentley from Pelican Institute with us. Talk about spending money in the public schools. If you look at the numbers lately, if you look at the work that Dr. Brumley's been doing and we've been seeing statewide, we're finally getting some ROI.
We are.
So if we were going to ask for more money, now would be the time to do it because, yeah, we've got numbers.
You're right. Let's say. One example. Something that start talking about. I remember, talking about interventions for kids. I would say this basic expectations that you have to be possible for learning in the classroom. I think we have to get to a point soon to say these are strategies all intervention. How do we make sure that we embed that within just the everyday work of public education? It shouldn't be an extra. It shouldn't be an extra appropriation or extra money. This is how we should be prioritizing funds in the system to do this.
100%. Aaron Bentley, so thank you so much for coming.
Absolutely. Thank you for being here.
Oh, my absolute pleasure. I look forward to this invite every single year. We're coming up on 7:50 at Talk 107.3 FM. We got a quick break. We're gonna check your money now. We're gonna check traffic. Gonna hit up a quick news item when we come back. This day in history is just around the corner as well, right here on Talk 107.3 FM. Let's see if I'm.
Those victory bells came in loud and clear.
I was getting difficult to concentrate for sure. I was about to just reroute the conversation, be like, what in the hell are we listening to?
Well, thank you.
No, thank you. Awesome stuff. Good job.
Deadly wreck. Post that. And 12:15 and the traffic back up now way back on basically.
I did.
So he just said it. He just said it. When I was coming in, what they said, but I'm gonna tell you.
I didn't zoom out far enough, Moon. Look at that. So what I was looking at this morning was the bridge coming in, and go back to the previous exit.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to go back even
So
further.
what I'm telling you is, when I hit Livonia and all that, oh shit, you ball down. I wouldn't ball down. I wouldn't even ball down on the express.
Yeah, I was just looking at West Baton Rouge. I was looking at Highway 1 and Highway 415.
Man, trying to tell when no one wants to
I can't. Well, we're not right now because I got a microphone I can't mute.
Okay. Oh no, I'm just going. Yes. Yeah. You know, we got they should be on the first year test. We need to look at that. throughout the place, so we can this is operation. And so nobody cook and you start with them, it's neat race and these plants and things. Stuff. See the light from the
It's that microphone is stuck in sound. Sorry, I've got to find out. There's a microphone built to that camera, and I sometimes yeah, I don't think you do it on the camera. I think it's gonna be done through software.
Yeah, let's see, where's it plugged into?
It's plugged into my laptop right here.
directly.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. I can have it.
Well, here's the StreamYard software. Here's the StreamYard that we use,
Okay.
and they're telling me whatever I did, the sound improved, which means that I've got both microphones open. So if we're talking into the headsets, we should be good, right?
Yeah.
It's just when I stop talking, that microphone just sucks in the sound.
Double.
And if I go to settings, audio, this is my microphone here. All right. Now, if we be quiet real quick, you see how it goes quiet, but like when I start talking, it gets louder. Yeah. If I'm talking like this, you see it's still.
So it's big.
So it's getting both, right? I don't know how to undo the other one.
Reduce background noise. I mean, that's not going to erase your off the other one. Is it making a difference?
1, 2, 3, 4.
More money.
No, it's still
You can turn it off.
I just no worries. There's got to be a way to do this. $7:55 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. I'm going to hit up a quick hit news item because there's not enough time right in this segment for a guest. So let me just before we hit that news item, let me remind you about the folks over at Industry Makes, industrymakes.org. Tell you about Industry Makes every day. What is Industry Makes, you might ask? Glad you asked that question. Every time you see anything move in industry, manufacturing, chemical, up and down the river, all the plants, all the business, all the job creators, anytime you see anything move, you see it get protested in one form or fashion, sometimes multiple forms of fashion. Heck, there was a groundbreaking or an opening of a power plant on the other side of the river last week. That got protested. No matter what's going on in industry in Louisiana, there's somebody to speak up against it. Industry Makes is a unified messaging front to make sure that the people creating jobs and building the things that we use, making the things that we use on a daily basis, making sure that their voice is heard. If you would like to learn more, if you want to be an ambassador, hit up industrymakes.org. Let everyone else make noise. We'll make everything else. All right. One of the hot topics coming up in this legislative session is going to be carbon capture. One of the bigger issues. I was sitting in a meeting yesterday where they were going over from a particular group. I'm not going to talk about which group, but I was sitting in a meeting where they were talking about their legislative preview, what they're in favor of, what they're not in favor of. And there were a dozen carbon capture bills that have already caught their eye. Okay. It's going to be a hot topic this legislative session. Senate President Cameron Henry acknowledges that this is a hot button issue, specifically related to the oil and gas industry. Cut 7, please. Can't hear it. I'm sorry, Breland. Could you play cut 7 again, but put it in my ear? Exactly, because so many decisions are being made based off of this. Henry says the oil and gas industry is a major economic driver for the state. Local governments need to keep that in mind when navigating this issue. Cut 8. Exactly. This is all part of an overall equation, and I have a fear. I have a fear that fear is going to rule the day. I have a fear that Chicken Little will rear its ugly head again. Those who are saying the sky is falling are going to speak the loudest. They're not going to be the biggest group, but they're going to speak the loudest. And we're going to see so much business head next door to Texas simply because by the way, On the other side of the building, House Speaker Philip de Villiers says he's supporting carbon capture. Cut 9. De Villiers acknowledges, though, that this is something that people have a lot of concerns about. Now, are those concerns warranted? That's a whole other question. Is there a scientific argument in favor of carbon capture and sequestration? Absolutely, there is. But nonetheless, you are going to see multiple, I gotta find them again, multiple bills by, let's see, House Bills 5 and 6 by Representative Mike Johnson. Those are carbon capture bills. You're going to see House Bill 79, House Bill 80 by Robbie Carter. You're going to see House Bill, oh, where did it go? I have a whole stack of them here. How about 495, 497, 498, 501? There's just, the list goes on and on, where people are looking to individually carve out ways to not have carbon capture in their particular area, and there will be negative repercussions statewide. And you know, once one of them falls, all the dominoes will start to fall. And you know who's waiting on that? Texas. Texas is who wants us to walk down this path of being afraid. We got a break. We got news, traffic, weather. We'll do this day in history next.
Any ideas?
No.
Should I reach out to somebody who knows this equipment better than me?
Can't see.
Ask me. I do not have her number, but I'm happy to see it to me. Who's that?
No, I got it.
Because it might be, I know the end is StreamYard, but I'm wondering if it's like the internal settings too, before StreamYard picks it up. Like you just open up your devices. And I'm hoping the camera has a mic option we can turn off within the computer settings. Because we just rolled out StreamYard. There's no option there. So for it might be yeah, just search for devices since it's plugged in through a USB. I think it'll be logged. Device manager, yeah. Let's open that bad boy up. That should let us really plugged in. Oh, well, you can't manage your own devices.
Well, I'm gonna
Thank you,
go to bed,
Guarantee.
man.
Thank you, Guarantee.
Whoa, you're hot.
That's right. Um, let's see. Yeah, what we're looking for, whatever that camera might be. And see if we can turn off the mic off.
That's not wrong.
Maybe just if you could.
It is listed as a camera. Hang on.
It's the Dell webcam. This is the Dell.
No, Dell webcam's the one that's built in here.
Okay. Maybe if we just start settings and try to get to somewhere. I'm not used to seeing that menu.
So settings overall.
Let's just go to settings and see if we can get to it from there.
You want me to give you some?
Sound settings.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Beautiful. That's exactly where we're going to get. Okay.
I like you, but I really.
I understand. I'm gonna get after it. So see, the problem is they stop at 9.
That bagel looks great.
They stop at 9. So the breakfast. So I'm
So down and scroll down a little bit. There's something that says input. I wonder what that is.
So
Choose a device for speakers or settings. So yeah, which speaker are you trying to, or which mic are you trying to use? Do you see it's the line? Yeah, you can hit sound. To go back, just hit the sound. That seems like the integrated, yeah. Would it be, well, it disappeared. Oh no, it's lower. Output, input. Is it line? Is that this? Realtek audio device? I don't think that's picking it up.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
When you get 3 minutes from now, which we're gonna be back in from break before then. Yeah, this is just now when I texted Kathy, which was a minute ago.
This mic is Realtek.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure we have. This mic is working, but the other one is not muted. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna go back to microphone because that's where it was at, and I don't want to screw up what was already in there.
For sure.
Audio.
Yeah, I was hoping that by picking.
Hang on a second. Don't allow.
Input volume.
Do what? All right. 806 at Talk 1073 FM, WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Hour 3 coming your way right now. Brian here with you. Bree Lynn back in the friendly confines of the 180 Pro studio. I'm on location this morning out at the Pelican Institute's 2026 Solutions Summit. Been a fantastic lineup of guests so far. We're not done yet. We're going to talk regulation with Sarah Harbison coming up in our next segment. We are going to talk with Pastor Joshua Robertson at 8:35. Before we get you to this day in history, let me remind you about the folks over at One Bath and Closets. OneBathAndClosets.com is the website if you wanted to check them out. 225-400-8005 is the phone number if you wanted to hit up One Bath and Closets as I did. I speak on their behalf as a customer of One Bath and Closets. Christy and I decided it was time to upgrade the bathroom. We had a house built in 1964 with a 1964 bathroom. We were sharing the one vanity. I had no idea how much more convenient it would be for us to each have our own vanity in the bathroom. To go from the old school cast iron tub to the walk-in shower the work has been phenomenal. David Duvall and his team over One Bath and Closets, what they do is David walks you through every step of the process, walks you through what the possibilities are when it comes to revamping your bathroom, and from there, walks through the possibilities, takes your input from there, and then implements your vision. Learn more at onebathandclosets.com. All right, time for this day in history. Let's roll. Okay. Yeah. I mean, well, yeah, no, but you remember 1877, we're just, we're 3 elections removed from the Civil War at that point. Reconstruction is mid-swing. Everything is still tumultuous at that point for sure. Mhm. Yeah. Really? Okay. That is pretty cool. And it's only gone downhill from there, right? What was it before that? Yes, it was Taylor Swift Shake It Off. Fergie Butcher, what, the national anthem? Yeah, but that wasn't this year though, was it? All right. Oh my goodness gracious. Dillinger. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, no, dude. I mean, he was he it was on this day in 1934. The notorious gangster John Dillinger escapes from a jail in Crown Point, Indiana, where he was being held for killing a police officer earlier that year. And yeah, I mean, he was John Dillinger, man. If he points a gun at you, you don't ask questions. Yeah, yeah. I mean, guns made of wood. It's still, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, was the no new taxes speech that was in New Orleans, if I'm not mistaken, for the '88 Republican? Yeah, the '88 Republican convention. I believe that's where the "Read My Lips, No New Taxes" speech was given. So yeah, yeah. That's and I mean, don't make a promise you can't keep. Wait, who's Mr. Monroe? No, no, no. He's Shreveport. He's not Monroe. Monroe's the other side of the state. Yeah, Mr. Shreveport, Mr. 318. I got plenty. We alluded to this yesterday. On this day in 1699, the first Mardi Gras was celebrated. Yep, at Pointe de Mardi Gras, which is just south of New Orleans. But Iberville and Bienville celebrated the first Mardi Gras on this day in 1699, not 1703 in Mobile, 1699 in New Orleans. That is the oldest Mardi Gras. That's the first celebration of Mardi Gras. Close the dadgum book on the stupid conversation. On this day in 1985, huge news in 1985. You know what happened today in 1985? The first episode of Moonlighting hit TV. Yeah. Yep. And this day in 2024, Caitlin Clark became the all-time leading scorer in NCAA basketball because Pete Maravich did not have a three-point line and was not allowed to play his freshman year. That is why Caitlin Clark became number one. Was because Pete Maravich was judged by a different set of standards. And what was it? If he had a three-point line, he would have had, I want to say, 1,500 more points. Mm. That might not be. That doesn't sound right. That sounds off. But go ahead. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Super. Wow. Oh. Who? Tone Loc? Yeah, no, I'm aware of him. I've met him before. He's a good dude. I've got a great Tone Loc story, but it's not for the air. Just because it's a long story. Alexander Graham Bell, it's his birthday today as well. Yeah. No, I got one. I got one on this day in 1993. Carlos Marcelo passed. Yeah.
Yeah.
World Wildlife Day. We can roll with that one to be sure. We are at 8:14 to Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Before we take our next break, I gotta remind you about the folks over at Neurojust, Neurojust. Neurojust.com is the website. You're gonna find them on Blue Bonnet Boulevard. Who am I talking to here? Anyone who suffers from anxiety or depression and has been treatment resistant. Look, if the sit down talking out therapy isn't for you, completely understand. If you don't like the way that the prescription medication, the antidepressant drugs make you feel, completely understand. This is who Neurojust is for. They specialize in transcranial magnetic stimulation, TMS therapy, they call it. It is FDA approved. It's growing in popularity around the nation. And oh, by the way, your insurance will pick up the tab. Give Neurojust a look. Talk to Jordan. Talk to the guys over at Neurojust. Get to know them a little bit. I can swear by them because I've sent my mom over. It's helped with her sleeping better at night, less brain fog throughout the day. You're coming out of what would be 6-foot choppy waves rattling around your brain to where those seas get calm. Neurojust.com. Quick break. When we come back, we are going to talk a little bit about regulation. Sarah Harbison's going to join us next. Hello. We're always on it. Makes
Yes.
my wife, my daughters. Look where they're at.
Oh, that's the sofa.
Yeah.
That's the sofa. Wow. That's the kitchen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what this is?
Where is it?
Hattiesburg, Mississippi.
No, it is not.
Place called the Lucky Rabbit. Yes, they rebuilt the Golden Girls kitchen, and
Magnificent.
I know.
It's like twice, actually, a few times.
That tells you it's good. A drag performance of the Golden Girls. Okay. Oh man. I mean, both of these. Both of these really like where did you see this?
Somewhere.
Okay. So you're pulling double duty today, right? Okay. And ridiculous drags on the top too. Hey, you got salad. He's fun. Have you read his Twitter bio?
Yeah.
And I'm hoping we're still like on. But then he's trying to say, yeah. Oh, do you have a Facebook feed open? No, I know on air we're going to be fine because the headsets are directional. But I'm worried about if the mic on the camera's still on.
Yeah. Which one is to match his hills?
Okay. In official testimony?
Involved. I mean, I can't say most people.
No. Bro, I don't know which one. No. Okay, is there any background noise at all? Like, can you tell if me muting the other? Alright. 818 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Keeping that guest list rolling as we're setting up for a very big day out of Pelican Institute's Solutions Summit. We've got Sarah Harbison with us. And Sarah, what the heck are you? Well, I'm doing well, except it reminds me that when you come on at Solution Summit, I only see you once a year. I mean, what's up with that? I know well, we got to get you on a lot more regularly, because but honestly, you can get some work done. I mean, you look at what you specialize in, what you try to tackle, and results of the legislative session. I don't know how much one-to-one we can say Sarah did that, but the result, the ROI is there.
It's, yeah. It's not
Okay. Yeah.
Well, I mean, last year, last year, regulations of the executive they provide some legislative to the agencies whenever they adopt regulations that cost the taxpayers money. A lot of times they're able to just pass these regulations without much scrutiny. A lot of times they cost us money, and the legislature, they have to put a fiscal note into their bills. Why wouldn't you do the same for regulations?
Oh my goodness, yes.
Yeah.
You put that simply, that's a forehead slap. That's why didn't we have this before?
Genius, right? That was Senator Mike Reese, and then last year's Representative Beth Billings sponsored a bill that we've tried to get passed a few times. It's a judicial reform bill that you've heard of Chevron deference to the agencies. Louisiana had something sort of called sort of a hybrid doctrine called like our skin board deference, where we would allow the courts to recognize an agency's interpretation of its regulations as long as it wasn't completely ambiguous. This, whenever you have a judicial review of an agency's decision, you have a clean slate. So there's no longer a thumb on the scale in favor of the state. So that's good for consumers. That's good when people want to review, for example, an unemployment court decision or a zoning decision, just in a number of ways where agencies have let sway over our lives. And now there's going to be some oversight, and there's going to be no longer a thumb on the scale in the state's favor.
So for those who don't know, Sarah.
Two years ago, yeah, deregulator. No. Yeah, and then we're back in the saddle last year. Oh, yeah, this year I thought about 6 foot, 7 foot, 8 foot book of regs, but it just didn't fit me.
So, they took stop. This is 1,000 sales. Tell me about what we're going to learn a little bit.
On this panel, you're going to hear about all of the regulations that we have in Louisiana, how these agencies have a big influence in our lives when it comes to how much our products cost, when it comes to building a house, when it comes to just getting an occupational license, for example. And we're going to talk about using AI. Someone from Vulcan Technologies is going to be here. In Virginia, they did a scrub under Governor Youngkin of their regulatory code, and they saved, I think, in the billions of dollars. They got rid of thousands and thousands and thousands of pages of regulations whenever there's redundancies or inconsistencies. They really used AI to smoke those out and just get them off the books.
We look at the regulations. Everyone walked in the path. What lens to what's the balance?
When it comes to an occupational license, for example, health, safety, welfare, or fiduciary, those should be the things that whenever we regulate an occupation, does this protect consumer health? If not, maybe it's really not necessary. Rating is a great example. I know.
You're so rapid now.
Doing it again. So there are two bills. One to get rid of the air rating license, and 37 states have gotten rid of the air rating license. It's time for us to get on this bandwagon, right?
Yeah.
There is a bill to increase the number of hours from 500 to 600.
It's in that last, it's in really hour 5:45 that you really get the hang of it.
But you really get the hang of it.
Before
right?
that, you could be hurting people.
You can hurt people, yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
goodness gracious.
Yeah, I think this is something that was discussed yesterday at the cosmetology board meeting. These are meetings that I have to go to.
Can we implement levels along the way?
Can we do that?
Implement levels along the way?
Like,
Like Francis Brainer?
I think it's more like a Scientology thing at this point.
Okay.
Yeah.
You have multiple levels. It's such a stupid thing because it hinders people from, well, it hinders business, first of all. And while you listed out a number of really great, categories to evaluate it, I looked through the Leslie Chow ones. Okay, hang over two.
Okay.
But did you die?
But did you die?
But did you die? Like, can we just not have that listed?
Right. I mean, it's like a lot of people they say, I got my hair braided, did die.
Right.
10 out of 10. 10 out of 10.
I don't know what is the possible repercussion that can lead you to needing 600 hours.
It's crazy. The woman who does my hair, she's a licensed cosmetologist. She went through the 600 hours of hazing that she had to do. And she didn't have any hair braiding training, but she could braid my hair. She could braid anyone's hair because she's a licensed cosmetologist.
Okay.
Doesn't make sense.
No, that doesn't make sense. Send her back for another 600.
Right.
That is probably the most glaring example. A few other examples just that we've experienced in our everyday life would be what things that people not be thinking of.
Building codes, building regulations, those cost money. They're more expensive. If you need certain levels or certain occupations to come permitting, that's another example of that can take a while, as people know. A couple of states have passed something called they've done a shot clock. Your permit shall be issued if they don't get around to it in a certain amount of time. That's not something I don't think Louisiana is considering yet, but that's oh yeah.
Oh, that's the dumbest on both sides. Either it matters or it doesn't. It's not like you can't run a four corners offense on it.
And that's kind of the point.
That's that is a grown up equivalent of playing keep away. That's so silly. Oh, we got Sarah Harbison in with us. Okay, so that's panel number one. What's panel number two? Gives us rewrite the contract, government union reforms. Taxpayers. Tell me about it.
Spend from the government on this and have place by contributions from you to money others. There's the taxpayer in the equation. They're just not represented. We're going to talk about collective bargaining agreements in Louisiana, how those dues are used for political speech that you may or may not agree with. And if you don't agree with it, you should have to pay another penny. In fact, that's what Jan's decision from the 18 cents. Not another penny.
Now, again, this isn't an anti-union thing. This is just making sure that
Join, don't join, I don't care, but it's your paycheck and you should have a say in how it's being used.
we got just a couple minutes left with Sarah Harbison. I'm going to pivot back over from today, from the Solution Summit, back over to the legislative section. What are you looking to tackle this year?
There's going to be an opt-in bill that protects taxpayers, and protects people who want to be members of a union. You are allowed to say, hey, I want to join this year, or I don't know, whenever you do the paperwork, like healthcare, beneficiaries, for insurance, those types of things. They're just another box that you check. It just says you have a right to join or not to join. You have not required to be a member. And by the way, if we speak on your behalf and you don't like what we're saying, you guys.
Okay. Okay. So the argument against that is always whether you're a member or not. So how do you rebut that?
Well, you might, but you not have getting enough.
Okay.
But my wife would say, well, I'm in here to stand who barely shows up on time. I'm here 20 minutes early and I stay late.
Okay.
I can get a better deal on my own.
Yeah. So the problem with collective bargaining is collective.
It's fine.
Yeah. But I mean, we understand having a unified voice to speak up when things are going wrong. But at the same time, though, is everyone pulling their weight? Sure. No, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
As we meet them.
Mhm.
So it's somebody has to speak up for them, and that's.
So the government union reforms that protect taxpayers. This one should be a good one. It's this afternoon. I saw on the first panel there. Going back to the first one, you got Mark Wright in the house with you. He's awesome.
He's awesome. He's been in regulatory since the beginning.
Yes. In the meanwhile, outside of your, and I've been asking everybody this thing, outside of your work panels, what are you most looking forward to tonight? Daniel brought me a copy of the book. It's a little bit. I know. Right. Again, this afternoon, absolutely. She is Sarah Harbison with the Pelican Institute. You got a busy day. I appreciate you carving out a couple minutes for us this morning. Thank you so much. Likewise. Before we take our break, though, we are coming up on news, traffic, and weather at the bottom of the hour. Before we take that break, I need to remind you about the folks over at Mathern's. You know where to find them. Downtown, they're on 3rd Street. Actually, just a couple blocks up and 1 block over from where we're at right now. No, a couple blocks over, 1 block up from where we're at right now. You'll also find them on LSU's campus in the Nicholas Gateway Shopping Center and Mathern's in Kenilworth. They're on Highland Road, just west of Kenilworth. That's the OG location. Remember the old school Kenilworth supermarket? Well, it's back as Mathern's at Kenilworth. You can find them at all 3 locations. More importantly, you can find them when you download the Mathern's app. Download the Mathern's app and start earning cash towards more groceries every time you shop at Mathern's. I use it all the time over at the campus location. In fact, I was using it twice over the weekend. Just buying some lunch when I was working out for baseball. So it pays you more the more you spend. It's actually the rewards program is pretty phenomenal. Get it in all 3 locations, Mathern's. Also, before we take our news break, kind of remind you the Talk 103 app is available now on Apple CarPlay. Press play on exclusive podcasts, listen live 24/7 anywhere you go. Download the app or update to the current version to get access. The Talk 1073 app is presented by Lake Urgent Care, walk-in care for minor illnesses and injuries. Here's news. Oh my goodness. Sorry, I cut us 1 question short because I was like super behind on my live reads. So, but all good. Likewise.
Yeah. No, it's not Steve, so it's anyways, when you're up. Yeah.
I'm well. How are you?
Joshua.
Hey, great to meet you.
Likewise.
You are. You got about 3 minutes. What do you want to talk about? I didn't give you. They just gave you who my guest was.
Well, school choice, education freedom. That's the area of my focus and
Okay. Founder of American Dream.
founder of Black Masters United for Education.
Oh, okay. American founder. All right. Well, we'll start with that. And then we'll move on to today. Talking about the kind of the progress. Are you from here in Louisiana?
No, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
No.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah. What about you?
Born and raised in South Louisiana. I grew up about an hour away from here in Covington.
Okay. So, is that close to New Orleans?
North Shore. So, New Orleans is nestled between the river and the lake.
Yeah.
Across the lake.
Okay. Yep. Grew up in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
How'd you get connected with Pelican?
I was invited to be a speaker. And Pelican, some people involved with, this organization called Pelican Institute. I've been, organization from. Okay. They thought I would really be somebody that tell me something, be to be a sweaty big man.
Nice. Very nice. Yeah. Uh, yeah, I need to check on, so we're always on Facebook Live and YouTube. I've been having audio problems this morning and, I'm kind of a one-man band. They don't send me all the tech. So how do I find anything? Talk 1073. Talk 1073. Yeah, see, it's getting bleed over from another microphone that's for some reason still open, but once our mics are on, it'll be nice and clear. So, good looking, Breland. What we got? So, here, my as well. There we go. I would like to bring them. No, yeah. Warm weather. No worries. Do they have you with any deal reference to smell? I'm not gonna say you're. Okay. Eight 36 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. We're not nearly done yet. We got two more segments to go on this show. 9 o'clock. I'll sign off. Moon Griffon will pick it up and looking right down the hallway at Moon. He's got the last table by the door. I don't know if that was on purpose. I think it's get away. But Moon will pick this up from 9 till noon with the Moon Griffon show. Of course, nestled between us on this kind of Radio Road here at the Pelican Institute Solution Summit. Jeff Pereira, who normally joins us in the 6 o'clock hour, but we skipped that this morning to make sure we were focused on the task at hand. And focusing on the task at hand is what we're going to do right now. Going back to our guest list, we've got Pastor Joshua Robertson with us. How are you, sir? I'm glad to have you on here. We got a lot of ground to cover here because we're going to talk about school choice, but I want to also talk about how this is a different conversation. We'll get to that in a second. You're the founder and CEO of Black Pathways United for Education. Tell me about that. Okay.
You're relying on your please. Non-traditional education with communities. We're just being tremendously successful and that also helping pastors, which I believe is the mainly because of the teacher to be the spokesperson for the education for those patrons.
Love that angle, love that angle.
It tweaks it, not that.
And so seeing that you're getting positive movement, that's quick, it's a quick turnaround.
We see the problem. It's not right. Most churches. Some students.
Right.
Why make them feel those spaces?
Okay, so then, you're opening up, I had no idea where we're gonna go here. You're talking to the father of two Catholic school students. One of my Catholic school students is already graduating, is in college, so put 3 kids in Catholic school. This is very important to me and my wife. When we got married, we took our vows in the Catholic Church and raised our kids Catholic. This is part of the promise was a Catholic education. From time to time, you'll see another non pick up a mantle and carry it that way. But I don't understand the prevalence.
It's not as really helping every stuff. To me, I mean, the right was a challenge for everything and all the time. So, it's in this constitution when it needs to be, but we need to be education entrepreneurs. And in our churches, in your local Catholic parish, I'm sure you have teachers, you have front you have administrators, and why not create our own and create our own spaces? I believe 21st century education is the fucking budget. And in order to do that, community has to take away from that.
So if we got Pastor Johnson Robertson on with us, talking about a little bit about school choice this morning. Give us a sneak preview of what you're going to talk about when you're with the colleges.
Follow for the
If you point. Okay.
University of Minnesota.
Okay. Right.
Someone loved me, someone introduced me, teach me how to have really wish I held at my first college and enrolled himself into this junior college. He taught me how to work, taught me how to be a student. That's why I'm here today. And so that's what I'm trying to preach this message all across the country, that if we would take the lid off of education, we would be true Americans, which is innovative, and dangerous. We could change the trajectory of church future. It's a phrase that I'm raising.
Truck. When it comes to that, we have this truck.
And I think that to put all of your stuff in everything, one interest in one thing, that's un-American. That's not all we got to be the American way we are today. We believe in the multiplicity of options. And so I would, when it comes to education, which is so critical for the foundation of our future as a country, why would we just place our faith in one system that, again, has it proven that it can handle that type of support again for Trump serving?
The build up of the trust. It's separate, and we grew as individual states when it came to education. For some reason, we all just pivoted to this, and it was all in lockstep.
I think it was a beautiful thing for so you pay twice.
No, I know. That's it.
It's un-American.
That's money I'm going to spend, though. I'm not complaining about it, but it's like, I'd like a little help. but like, it's, right, which is why it's, we have a Louisiana Gator scholarship, and that's working towards helping, but finding the dollars to funnel that way, which is amazing that we can't find those dollars when the dollars are sitting right there. All the taxes have been paid. That's right there. So how do you walk that balance between the two? We got Pastor Joshua Robertson with us. Talk a little bit about school choice. Do you find that the school choice arguments are different from place to place?
And, I think there. Speech was lost that one picture on the system. I don't think that would be compatible to one another. At the same time, if we had to ask me is more important to take Americans, we should look out for the least of these first. So the reality is that we have in prison, a public school to prison pipeline, and we need to stop. And that's the reality. It's not a your school is not a it's not a charter school pipeline to jail. It is a public school pipeline to jail. We have a crisis, and we can't allow politics to come before people.
So how do you walk down the path of if it's a public school pipeline? How do you walk down the path and say, let's put those dollars to places in our public school? Doesn't that worsen the public school profit?
Something like this over that I would say a lot of things more either. I think learning is a time. It's really it's not the problem. It's not just
Okay, so the problem is in the problem is in money. What is the problem inside the public? There's no way it's something that can't be solved, right? Sure. I mean, look, we want. I'm a big pro school choice guy. We've seen public charter schools rise around here. We've seen alternative education rise in Louisiana. We've done, if I can pat ourselves in the back, pretty well on this front in the last decade or so. But I don't want to give up the ghost on those that are still in public schools either. So how do you solve that? I
mean, I think we have let's see where I can go. Public school is like, I think we said this is a training rotation. Really, I'm going to take care of all of these. I don't think we can get saying you're being not going to tackle your case. Really, and like, we don't know where now where we have another agendas and things that people want to teach kids everywhere. Actually, we have reality sexual academics and everything else. The kids are raised left and right, reading math and grading. So I think smaller classrooms. I think we need teachers who we come from that community who can stay touching nuances of the kids who are in their classrooms. I think that public schools are in many ways too big. And so because of that, they're in business to do public schools as opposed to being in a business to educate kids.
We got 3 days left.
Yes, I was struggling with 3 or 4 other words at 18 years old.
Stepped in and moved out. Look one along the way. Tell me the story.
Sure, I fell out of the first college.
That was University of Minnesota.
No, my first college was Harvard.
Oh, okay.
So I went to so I passed this into that went to God, but we just there was a district rating was going to the station. My dad's a bishop, so I grew up in church, and I played the organ. So I played the organ in his church. And so when I fell out, bishop it took me almost a week after we come and moved down in this house. My dad wouldn't let me move out. Dad's life. I came back home, then I would get comfortable with it. So I was homeless. The bishop took me in. He enrolled himself into this community college with me. And then every day we went to classes together and talked how to read, bought me a Goosebumps book and a highlighter, and I made showed me how to read. He got me back into school. That next semester, I got into Lackawanna and junior college in Spring, Pennsylvania. by the 5th game of the year, let me really back in junior college football, full scholarship at the University of Minnesota, and now I have my master's degree. When I finished my master's degree, I had this thing, I had the highest GPA in my seminary. First time I had that in this seminary. And that shows you that I did not have an education problem or a learning problem. That's schools are in trouble. And that's the reality. And we don't want to call it what it is, but the reality is our schools are in trouble. And if we don't have bold and courageous and innovative leadership for the 21st century, things will get worse before they go. We got 1 minute left. Absolutely. BPUE.org, Black Pastors Unite Fest. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. With pastors, with churches, with people, whatever that may be. We solve that.
He is Pastor Joshua Robertson. Looking forward to today as he'll be presenting as well. Thank you so much for a couple minutes as well. Absolutely fantastic conversation. As far as the guest list is concerned, we're all done for the day. As far as the show's concerned, we've got one more segment to go. Hey, don't forget before we take our break for everything now, the new season of Louisiana Business Weekly is here. I'm the host, but these are not my stories to be sure. Sit down with business owners, sharing their journeys, successes, setbacks, lessons learned. It's all brought to you by Currency Bank. The Bank for Business is the sponsor of the podcast for business. Stream and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and more. Or listen anytime at talk1073.com. Here's your money now. Awesome. Yeah, very nicely done. So, there's the part of the discussion that I wanted to open up, but I didn't know if we'd have enough room to run. Is that here in the South, and I realize I'm a white man speaking to clarity, is that here in the South, we have a completely different track record in the past. How can you incorporate school choice into overcoming that track record?
What do you mean by that?
Segregation. Sorry. Segregation and desegregation, separate but equal. And like we had a busing situation for 40 years, where kids would have to be up at 4 o'clock in the morning to get across town for like we don't have the best history.
Yeah, sure.
You know?
Well, I mean, that's why I feel like there has to be a collaborative effort. It's really put in the community place such a thing. Because as a Black Conservative marching for and as we have allies, the organization's called Black Pastors Education. We have pastors and they're very simple.
Okay.
And so I think the community should be, we can stay nonpartisan and stay out of the political sphere. And we can help bridge this gap. And the same way, if you want to accomplish something, the same way you just have to be strategic. I think we act like we can't be strategic. Like when it comes to criminal justice or criminal, our criminal justice system, we act like we can't be strategic and come up with a 30-year plan. I think everything. A lot of the plans that I hear today are quick fixes for today or for but I think we need to figure out a way to unite people across all fronts and come up with a long-term plan of how we fix the situation. I think if we're only stuck in the moment, then we're trapped by our thoughts about what happened in the past and everything. But I think if we are sitting in a room together, working collaboratively to come up with a generational plan for education, I think that's the only way to really do it. Yeah, where we don't have to look at it like everything has to be fixed today, and we can think long term. I think without that long term consideration, I think also, let me say this: when you have a long term consideration, you can also take into the lessons that you learned from the past. When you're trying to have a quick fix and you miss things, and I think the history that we have as America is an interesting history, and you know that, especially given the South. My dad is 83 years old. When I said that my dad told me I couldn't move back at home, the only time my dad told me his story was when I failed out of school. My dad was born in 1942. In 1956, he was arrested for jaywalking in Dothan, Alabama. That's where my dad is from. Wow. He was released from jail at 1:30 in the morning. There was a police and lynch mob there waiting for him. My dad ran 3 miles, and my family within that next week had to move him to Pennsylvania in order to keep him alive. That's why I'm from Pennsylvania and not from Alabama. right?
Yeah.
So I'm familiar with how to, even my parents are familiar with how this is. My dad has a church bulletin of a lynching in his basement. So I know that exists. Even with that, one of my dad's best friends is Reverend James Lane, a white man from Tennessee with a big old belly, looked like Santa Claus, big beard and everything. When he preached revival at my dad's church, he would stay in our house. And so I grew up, and my dad was like, Uncle James is here, and I go jump in the bed with him. Right? So, I'm saying that to say, I know it's kind of nostalgic, but I'm saying it to say that our past doesn't have to define our future. Yeah, but it takes the right people in the room who can, if me and you walk into a room, I can look at my black brothers and say, stop treating my brother like this. And you can look at your white brothers and say, hey man, stop treating my brother like this. I mean, I feel like that's how
It's not gonna be on right. Oh, no. Who are you? Well, you are on Facebook. You are on Facebook. You're up at 9?
Hey, that's where I found the most success.
Well, okay. So lesson learned. Don't be afraid of the conversation. Morning. So, well, I appreciate you.
Like, nice to meet you. I'm looking right. We're near right? Okay. Looks like y'all have a great discussion.
Oh yeah, no, we've been off the air. I just had a follow-up question that I didn't ask on air and been properly educated.
I'm just gonna talk about whatever, man. I really like I'm passionate about these issues and feel like nothing gets done if you don't talk about it.
Yes, absolutely. Let me see if I'm back. I gotta close out the show. So thank you. If you don't mind.
Yeah, everything.
Just small scoop of egg, like a sausage and a bacon. That's just enough to taste.
Gotcha.
Bring them away. And we're sounding okay on Facebook? All right. I think I might have fixed it. So could you hear the stuff during the break for the interview? Okay. Well, I asked him a much more bold question. I'm recapping about game. $8:56 talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Gonna close things out here in just a little bit. Want to thank the Pelican Institute for having me out today. Of course, Moon Griffon's going to pick up where I leave off. He's going to be on the air coming up 9 till noon. He's broadcasting from, I don't know, 40 yards away from where I'm at, 30 yards away from where I'm at right now. Before I get out of here, let me remind you about Danny and his team at 5 Star Printing and Signs. I got to tell you, I'm looking at a number of state legislators walking up and down the hallway. Election time rolls around. You need 5 Star Printing and Signs. You need to call 271-4096. You need to talk to my guy, Danny. You need to talk to his team. You need to collaborate a little bit to figure out how to best get your message out there for election season. Yes, he does super well when it comes to promoting your business. But his wheelhouse is the political season. So whether you're talking about the yard signs, the brochures, the door hangers, whatever it might be, 5 Star Printing and Signs has got you covered. So, talk about legislators all over the hallway. Our Speaker Philip de Villiers and State Representative Jack McFarland just popping in just now as they're about to hit the stage, coming up in just a little bit to kick things off. Speaker de Villiers has the opening comments. Just saw them a quick second ago as they were walking by. Saw State Representative Roger Wilder a couple seconds ago during the break. Man, been a good show. You know what? I got 2 minutes here. Do I have enough room to run with this? All right. Our last segment, we had Pastor Joffrey Robertson on this. And he's given a Pella talk, school choice to fulfill the American promise. He's with, of course, Black Pastors United for Education. And he's from Pennsylvania, and we're, of course, here in South Louisiana. And when I asked him the question about whether or not school choice plays differently in different parts of the country, like if there are different challenges, I didn't follow up with the deeper question of how does our racial history in South Louisiana, or how does our racial history in the South play into the overall school choice conversation? Because one of the things that is going to be different where he's from versus where we're from is we've got a past, Joe. We've got a past that has not been the most proud, and that's a part of the conversation we need to lean in on. And I didn't ask it on the air, but I asked him during the break, and I really, really, really appreciate his answer. And that answer was essentially, "Don't be afraid to have a conversation," which was awesome. Don't be afraid to have a conversation. Don't let our past hinder our future. So he was phenomenal. I'm looking forward to his talk. It's coming up at 10 o'clock. With Pastor Joshua Robertson. Thank you again to everybody who hopped on the show today. Pastor Josh, we had Sarah Harbison, we had Aaron Bindley, we had Vance Ginn, we had Daniel Erspamer, we had Sal Nuzzo, who was great. All of them will be available at talk1073.com once the show is over with this morning. We'll be back at it tomorrow. We're gonna have attorney Franz Borghardt in for Legally Served tomorrow. I'm still putting together tomorrow's lineup, so I didn't want to get ahead of the day. We had a lot of attention paid on the show today, just being out on location. And once again, the countdown is on, y'all. Legislative session opens up Monday. We will be broadcasting live. Moon's going to do his show from the Capitol. I'm going to join him for a legislative pregame show. Looking forward to it. It's all systems go for this year's legislative session. We're done. We'll see you tomorrow. All right, good deal. Thank you so much. Good work. All right, bye. All right, Facebook, we got to bounce.